Okay, so let's dive into type text. And there's a couple different nuances between Drift and Drift Pro with type text. So we're going to go over a couple different examples. It's a pretty simple stack though. So we are just going to go over basically the animation settings within here. A lot of the other settings are common throughout the Drift stacks. So we are just going to be focusing on the type text features in this video. Let's start off with previewing just to kind of show you what type text does. Essentially here I have hover animations, and when we hover over, we see that the text is typed. And here we start with nothing, and when we hover over, it types the text out. And this example down here at the bottom is with Drift Pro, where when we hover over, it actually changes the same words and kind of types out a part of a sentence. Okay, so we're going to be looking at these three particular demos here today. So first off, we're going to start off with the Drift type stack. This is from the Drift stack. So when you add this text to the page, it's just some text that you can type in whatever you like. In the HTML settings for this stack, you'll notice that you can change the tag, so the header or paragraph or whatever, and then you can add some custom classes to that. Now let's look at the animation settings for type text. So this first example is a to animation. So basically the text that is inside the stack here inside edit mode is going to be the default text on the page. And then the animation is going to override that text with what we type in here. Okay, so we're going from the default text to this text. Now, the old class and new class, that allows you to basically apply some classes to just the characters as they are animating. So you can, again, maybe use Foundation 6 swatches or whatever to then, apply special styles to those if you'd like. We'll see a little bit of that inside the Drift Pro settings. Next, let's go ahead and show you what the difference is with replace word. Okay, so here we'll notice that by default, this is Drift Stack is awesome, and it is Drift Stack from Weaver Space. Now, let's go ahead and just change that a little bit. Let's just make it a little bit different. Let's do it. The Drift Stack is totally awesome. So the setting for replace by word, if you turn this on, essentially what it's going to do is instead of changing character by character, it basically blocks and changes a word at a time. Okay. For certain effects that'd be okay. I think most of the time you're probably not going to use that though. Next is pad space. You probably want this on, but what this does is, let's say that, let's reduce. So when the new text is shorter than the old text, okay, let's show you what this looks like. So there we go. If you notice, it animated out here. Okay, now check out the difference in the animation if we turn off the pad space. What it does is it kind of goes in at the end, right? I think pad space is probably something you're going to want all the time. But it's a setting in case you want to turn that off. And then preserve spaces. This is a setting if you actually have multiple spaces. This is probably another edge case one that you're probably never going to turn on, to be honest. But if you have multiple spaces, maybe with a non-breaking space character inside your HTML, and you want to ensure all of those are preserved and they're not animated, you can go ahead and turn this on. Again, it's a very edge case sort of scenario. If you want to make sure that extra spaces, if you have more than one space after another, that those are preserved. Now, this second example, if you notice, it starts off with nothing. Okay, and let's look at this one. In this example, it is a from animation. The new text here is empty. So we're going from, and then the text that we're going to overwrite the text that's here with is empty. If you want to animate text onto the page like this is what you're going to want to do. You're not going to want to start with an empty header and then go to this sentence. The reason is for SEO. Because this text is in your HTML by default on page load. So if you want this typing effect where it goes from nothing to something, definitely make sure that you use the from effect and then make sure that the text area here is blank. Okay, so really important there. That's a good distinction. So that's really all we have for the type text. It's pretty simple. Let's go look at a more sort of advanced scenario using Drift Timeline with Drift Pro. So we'll notice here I have Drift Timeline, and down here I have multiple animations. And basically these animations are going to be changing the text. It actually goes from text to blank to text to blank. And we're just going one after another here. And what we've done here in this header, you'll notice that I'm actually doing a span tag in here. And this is a cool little trick where I have a class called WS-2. Okay. And this is the class that I'm targeting inside all of my animations. So inside the header, I have a span, and then I use some swatches here from Foundation 6 to make that particular span red, just so we can see it and it's kind of bold. Okay. So inside all of these type text animations, I'm just animating the same class, the WS-2, and then I'm going to either a different text and then to blank and then to. Now it's possible that I could have done some yo-yos here so that it actually animated this text and then goes back. But there's just some slight nuances that setting it up this way is just slightly different. Okay. And that gives us this effect here where I have this static sentence and then the ending words are what's changing. So I hope you enjoy type text and enjoy the rest of Drift. Take care, everyone. Bye.